Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries, and in this video response I'm going to be making a response to John Swoop McCoy Spitzer's or Skankenspitz video about role play atrocities. The video is subtitled Space Carrots and is a very worthwhile watch. I'll put a link down below for you to check that out. Now, in that video, John threw down the gauntlet to anyone watching to come up with a worse role-playing atrocity than the situation he was faced with, where he was effectively forced to create a fictional grocery list within a science fiction game. Well, pin back your ears and listen, John, because I'm about to tell you about the Vaulderie of Doom. Any of you who have not played World of Darkness will not know what a Vaulderie is. And to put it very simply, because I'm not going to go into too much detail, it's basically when a load of vampires get together, mainly vampires of the Sabbat faction, the more bestial, monstrous faction. They all bung their blood in a big chalice and then they all drink from it. The amount of blood you can put in is based on your status within the sect. And what this does is it creates an artificial bond of camaraderie between the members of the Sabbat. And basically what this involves is a lot of dice rolling to determine the Vaulderie ratings, which is fine normally because there's normally only about 3 or 4 people involved. Let's say, however, you were involved in a Sabbat game, which is taking place, I think it was Miami or somewhere like that, my friend was running it in, and there was a Palo Grande being held, which for those not in the know is a huge festival that all Sabbat in any city attempt to try and attend. Now, let's say there was a huge Vaulderie with everyone present going on. God knows how they got a cup big enough to fit all the blood in it, but putting that aside, let's say that that's taking place. How would you go about doing that? Now, if you were like me, I'm sure you'd come up with some way of simplifying the system, or you'd just use a bit of GM fiat to work it out. However, my friend who was running the game at the time basically created a huge spreadsheet with the names of the vampires listed down one side and the names of the vampires listed across the top. And bear in mind, this was all of the Sabbat vampires in this huge city, so it was a lot of them. And then the game pretty much stopped for, I seem to remember it seeming to go on for hours and hours, although I may be exaggerating slightly. But I certainly remember him being sat there for quite some time as he basically went through each cell on this spreadsheet, rolling the dice for each vampire to see how their Vaulderie ratings went up, went down, or stayed the same. And basically we did nothing during that time other than listen to the sound of dice clattering off the table. Look at this Sabbat. They're Sabbat vampires. They're Sabbat vampires. And they're Sabbat vampires. Do any of them look like they sit around for about 2 hours sipping blood out of a cup and staring numbly off into the surroundings? I don't think so, and it just caused the game to grind to a complete halt. So I would say that is a far worse roleplay atrocity, John, although I know this isn't really a competition. But since we didn't actually even get involved, at least with your fictional grocery list, there was some level of player involvement. I think that was the same game that I actually blew most of the party up in with my extremist Asimite, which I think I did a video about. I'll put a link down that to below. So that's my RPG atrocity. I hope you've enjoyed this video. You'll click on like and subscribe to my channel by clicking on the red dice up there. Until I see you next time, thank you very much for watching and for listening. Take care.